I take it that you're a runner if you're here.
Yeah.
Cool. So the important part of plyometrics is that running really is just one big plyometric movement over and over again. So we really want to include these in our strength training sessions to better prepare the body to handle the stresses of running. And a lot of times I've found that this piece goes missing. Strength training in general for runners is missing to some extent, but this piece specifically in the strength programs a lot of times is missing. So that's sort of where this workshop comes from. If you were here 4 weeks ago, we probably had a similar setup to this. We're going to start with, the dynamic warm-up. Pretty standard for what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks, just to get the body moving, heart rate going. And then we're actually going to go through some different plyometric movements, meaning we're going to start with a few linear movements, progress to some lateral movements, and then finish up with some multi-directional movements that incorporate some rotation here. So, like I said, it's nice that we have a smaller session, so we'll be able to kind of focus on how you're doing and give you some solid feedback here. So any questions for me before we start? This is sort of a unique time to ask some questions ahead of time, I would say.
Yeah, no, that all sounds good.
Cool. Nice. We'll jump into the warm up here then. We're going to start with, the kind of staples. We'll do some forward leg swings.
Yeah.
And adjust my screen here. All right, so we'll go 15 leg swings on each side in the forward direction. Really opening up the hip and the hamstring. Okay, when you're ready, you can switch sides. How long have you been running for, Greg?
About 15 years or so.
Oh, a long time. That's awesome.
Casually. I used to do marathons and now just shorter distances lately.
Cool. That's great. I have yet to run the marathon distance. I'm a little intimidated by it, to be honest, but
yeah.
One day I'm hoping to work up the courage for it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go into our lateral leg swings now. So coming across the body and out to the side. Again, 15 in each direction. Do you do any strength training on your own usually as well, or?
Yeah, I have some TRX bands that I use just at the house.
Cool.
I'm not a member of a gym currently, so
Gotcha.
I just do my own stuff.
Awesome. That's good to hear. A little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get the heart pumping a little bit. We're just going to go with 30 seconds of high knees here. Doesn't have to be perfectly 30. You can kind of estimate here. I actually forgot to throw on my watch as well, so we're going to go with an estimate. Say about 30 reps will constitute 30 seconds. All right, next we're going to jump into some glute bridges. So laying on your back, knees bent so your feet are flat on the floor, raising the hips up towards the ceiling. We'll go with 15 reps here. Have you run the New York Marathon in the past?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2009, so it's been a long time. Yeah.
That's good stuff. Yeah, that's the one that would be on my radar, I think. If
yeah, that's the best one.
Is it? Yeah. What others have you run?
I've done the Chicago and the Columbus, Ohio marathon.
Okay, nice. Columbus, I don't hear too often.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Cool. All right, next we're just gonna go for some basic lateral lunges to single leg stance. So you're gonna drop out to a lateral lunge, pop up onto one leg. We'll do 8 each side. How'd you like Chicago?
It was a good course. It was actually really hot that day. It got up to close to 90 degrees, which is,
oh wow,
it's in October, so it's unseasonably hot. But
yeah,
I was hoping to PR that day, but New York has been my best time.
really? Oh, that's awesome. New York's a tough course too.
Yeah, it's pretty tough, pretty hilly.
I always hear the hill on Fifth Ave is the killer.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah. All right. Last thing that we're gonna do is a nice side plank here. We'll get the core going a little bit, the outsides of the hips going as well. So you can either, I have a feeling you'll probably be able to do these as a full side plank, meaning your feet are extended all the way out, holding like so. We'll go about 20 seconds on each side or so.
Okay.
And that'll be pretty good. And you can switch when you're ready. Good, and down. So did you hear about us through Exceed, or do you follow us on Instagram?
Yeah, through Exceed.
Exceed, nice.
I've actually moved away from the city, but I used to take classes at Exceed when I lived there, so I'm still on their mailing list.
Nice, that's awesome. Have you jumped into one of their virtual classes? I'm plugging Tina's classes now.
That's good though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. You probably enjoy them a lot.
Cool.
All right, so we're gonna get into the actual meat of the plyos here now. Since it's been a couple weeks since you've been with us, not that we do anything really different, but we're gonna run through our kind of base position progression. So this really focuses on the landing piece of the plyometrics. You know, the force absorption to really make sure that you're finding the correct position with a lot of these more challenging movements when you're landing. So the first thing we're gonna try is just a nice simple snap down to a base position. So base position, to review, is feet a little bit wider than your hips, hips sitting back slightly, slight bend in the knee so your shin is not quite vertical.
Okay.
And what we're doing to start is coming all the way up onto your toes, driving down into that base position. So I want you to start with your feet a little narrower, and as you drive down, they're gonna slide apart a bit. So here I'm about, hip width or so to start, and I snap down, my feet slide out to the side.
Okay.
We'll just do 5 reps here. Good, nice. Good. Finish a little bit higher in that squat position, so you don't have to finish in like a deep squat per se. That's a little better. Nice. Good. Last one. Nice. That looks solid. So we got the basic base position down. From there, we're going to go into a split squat. So the finishing position is going to look like so. Again, not quite a vertical shin. Slight trunk lean forward in that finish position, and you're driving down into the split squat. Okay, we'll do 3 on each side. Good. Instead of your feet sliding out to the side on this one, you want to think about your front foot sliding forward slightly and your back foot sliding backward slightly. Nice. That's it right there. That's perfect. Good. Switch sides if you haven't. Yeah. Good.
Same side.
Nice. Good. All right. And then the last progression is just onto a single leg. So think about this as the base position on one leg. And it's very similar in that there's a slight bend in the knee, hips are reaching back. Again, you're just on a single leg here. So your foot, you sort of want, directly in line with your hip and knee. It may be slightly inward just to keep your balance. But as you drop down, stick that landing for 2 or 3 seconds, and then you can reset. Again, we'll do 3 on each side. Nice, Tina.
Let's see.
Good. Yeah, the stick is hard. If you have to tap your opposite foot down to sort of recover, just try and come off of it as quickly as possible.
Okay.
You know what I'm thinking too, Greg, with your arms, let both of your arms come down rather than your arms. Yes, when you land.
It's a good point.
There we go.
Nice. Yeah, much better. Good. Nice. And switch sides. Yeah, a little bit more challenging for on the left side here.
Yeah.
Good. Good rep to finish off there. Nice. All right. So now we'll kind of take what we went over there with the base position and bring that with us into the plyometric or the more challenging plyometrics here. So don't forget what you just went over. You want to hit those same positions, whether we're finishing on 2 legs, 1 leg. The split squat position, we won't really revisit today so much. But the double leg landing and the single leg landing, you will absolutely see. So the first thing that we're going to do are some linear plyos, and we're actually going to use a single leg RDL variation here. But we're going to focus on speed with this. So that's where the plyometric component comes in. So you're standing on 1 leg. This is a single leg RDL. Your knee is staying pretty straight. Your hip is hinging back so that your trunk is sort of approaching parallel to the floor. What we're going to do, like I said, is add in some speed. So I want you to drop down into that bottom position, stick for a second or 2, and then reset. You're dropping down nice and fast and then resetting. All right. We'll go 6 reps on each side. A little bit less bend in the knee.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, your hips are really doing the bulk of the moving here. Good. So this is also going to reinforce that single leg base position. Nice. You should be feeling this in the back of the leg. Yep, you can switch sides. Good. Imagine that you're sort of like dropping a ball and you're catching it right before it hits the floor. Yeah, good. Nice. Good stuff. So that's one of my favorite ways to incorporate an RDL in a plyometric way. We did another RDL variation 2 weeks ago that had a little bit of like an exchange of feet. But this is one of my favorites. And you can even progress it with an actual like weighted ball or medicine ball where you're literally catching that ball at the bottom position.
Cool.
The next one that we're going to work on are some continuous 2-to-1 jumps. So 2 legs to 1 leg. They look a little bit funny and it takes a little bit of rhythm to get down. But I saw one of my favorite PTs that I follow actually working on these with some runners, and I thought it was a great exercise. So basically you're doing like a mini jump. You're not coming all the way down to a squat and jumping up. It's just a little drive through the floor, and then you're landing on the single leg and you're sort of resetting right away and keeping the pattern going.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go 6 reps on each side, 6 landings each. Good. Nice. And try and make it a nice fluid transition back into the jump each time. Good. Pushing off both feet each time. There we go. That's it. Off both, land on one. Nice. Good. Nice. I think the connection went out a little bit there, so I missed the last couple of reps, but the start of that set on that side looked pretty good.
Okay.
That is a really, really nice way to load up the Achilles and calf, believe it or not, in a way that basically mimics what that muscle group has to do while you're running.
Okay.
The Achilles really is when you're running is designed to sort of control the motion of your shin, believe it or not, coming forward on the ankle, as opposed to like pushing off.
Right.
It's really controlling this sort of motion in stance, right? Okay. So every time that you're landing, it's having to absorb that force in a very similar way. So that's quickly become one of my favorites there.
Yeah.
All right, the next one, I don't see like a couch or anything nearby, so we might have to modify this one a little bit, but what I wanted to try were some seated single leg hops. So from a seated position, you're driving up and then landing in that single leg base position. Oh, that's perfect. There you go. Look at that. Little quick remodeling.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're driving up from the seated position. Good. So a little softer knee on that landing.
Okay.
All right. Remember that single leg base. Yep, that's a little better. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. 2 more reps here. Remember that softer knee? Just like we worked on in the single leg landing. All right, hold on one sec before you move on to the other leg here. So what I mean by that, right now, this is sort of what you're doing. You're kind of landing really stiff. You see how tall I am on that landing?
Okay, so bend a bit.
Yeah, bend. You want the knee to bend somewhat. So my trunk, my chest is upright, but kind of leaning forward. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
That's much better. So we'll go 5 reps on the left side here. Good, much better. Good. All right, last one here. Nice. So this one is different than the previous exercise in that this is actually biasing the quad and patellar tendon more so than the calf. And jumping from the seated position takes momentum out of the picture. So it really emphasizes power production of the quad muscle, and that transfer through the patellar tendon, which again becomes very important for reducing your risk for picking up a knee injury through running. So I like incorporating those seated movements. All right, let's pick 1 or 2 of these lateral plyos here. We'll skip the continuous lateral jumps. We're going to go for a lateral bound with a chop. Okay, so this is another one of those exercises that you're going to sort of pretend you're holding a medicine ball or some weight.
Yep.
We're going with a lateral bound. So you're going to start on the right foot and you're finishing on the left foot. The chop portion is that your hands are starting up nice and high on the right side and finishing down low on the left side. All right, so you see that diagonal sort of movement? Up high on the right, bound out to the left, and my arms are coming down and across my body. Good, good. It's gonna be tough to stick. Nice, nice, much better there. And you can just reset in between. Let's focus on one side first. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go 5 reps to this side. Nice. So we'll go 2 more. Nice, Tina.
Like a skater with a wood chop.
Yeah, exactly. It's really a fun one to do if you have a medicine ball as well. It's obviously much more challenging, but I really like using the med ball with these. Good. Nice. All right. So we'll go with one more lateral sort of movement that incorporates a bound as well. You're going to pretend that you have 3 hurdles, like 6-inch hurdles down on the floor. Basically what we're going to do are some quick lateral movements over the 3 hurdles. When you get to that third hurdle, or you get over that third hurdle, you're going to bound all the way across the imaginary hurdles back to the starting point. Okay. So it's going to look like this a little quicker. 1, 2, 3, landed on the wrong foot. Sorry. And then you're bounding across. Okay. Nice. That's perfect. Good. We'll go 2 more. Nice. Last one, and then we'll switch. All right. We'll go to the opposite side now. Good. And this is one, as you become more comfortable, you can start to pick up the speed with the hurdle steps. Good. So, you know, these exercises are definitely sort of getting out of the typical planes that a runner has to deal with, but they're super important for improving your body's ability to control the pelvis, control your hips, and sort of link the hip, knee, and ankle and foot in a way that is required while you're running. So still very much applicable. I know it's 12:26, so I want to get in 1 or 2 multi-directional movements as well. Most challenging variation, but you know, they're also the most fun, I think. So we're going to start with a kind of basic one, something that we haven't done. We're going to do some pogos in place to a reactive hip turn. So I'll show you what I mean by that. The pogo in place, you're just going to be bouncing kind of on both feet. If I say right, you're doing a hip turn to the right, and a hip turn is just that sort of motion where your shoulders are staying square to the camera, but your lower body is rotating about 45 degrees and then coming back. Yep, exactly. So I'll balance with you, and I'm going to call out right or left. Okay, so we'll go left, and then you're back to the middle. Left, right, left, left, right, right, left, and relax. Good. So not only are we getting the calf and Achilles working in a repeated plyometric way with the pogos, the reactive component also, you know, challenges the system because you don't know what's coming. You have to get the rotation bit kind of last second. So those are a nice one to actually incorporate in a dynamic warm-up as well. You don't need the reactive component. You can just sort of bounce and then rotate to either side, a few reps each direction. And I really like that to kind of get the heart rate going, wake the calf Achilles up, and just sort of prepare you for the run a little bit better. All right. So next multi-directional one here, we're going to do a 180-degree jump to a single leg land. Okay. So I'm actually going to start with my back to the camera. You're going to come down into the base position, jump up, rotate 180 degrees, and try and stick on that single leg. So if you rotate to the left, you're going to try and land on your left foot. If you rotate to the right, you're going to try and land on the right foot. All right?
Okay. You start low, is that right?
Yep, start low.
just.
And jump and rotate. Yep, about 180. Good, good. Better rotation there. Yeah, these are tough.
Yeah.
These are definitely the most difficult we've done so far. Nice. All right.
It's interesting. You can see how the knees work really hard here to square up, which is
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where that control of the hip and pelvis comes into play. Once you throw in a rotational kind of torque, having to stabilize against that is really challenging. But basically, if you're able to do this and you kind of adapt to this sort of stress, when you're out for a run and you're just keeping it in one plane, you might hit a rough spot in the sidewalk or the pavement. That will, your body will be more prepared to handle those stresses, but it'll also be prepared to handle just the regular kind of repetitive hip and pelvic stabilization that your body has to undergo with each and every stride. So you're sort of challenging yourself more than required in certain planes to create this headspace or headroom, I should say, in terms of what your body is able to handle. And that is what actually will reduce your chance of getting hurt, is having that extra room basically to work with.
Cool.
All right. So it's about 12:30 now. Again, if you have any questions, we can definitely, talk through one or two things here. Totally up to you.
No, I've had some calf and Achilles soreness just in the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I got some new shoes. Maybe that has something to do with it.
Okay.
I've been running on tracks more than roads lately.
Okay.
So different surface. But that one of those earlier things we did, which was, focused on the Achilles and calves, felt really good. Just, I could feel the tenderness, but also that it was kind of building that area up. So
awesome. Yeah. And I have a feeling that was this one, the 2-to-1, where you were sort of.
Yeah.
That one's going to be great for you to work on, even if it's once a week right now, to kind of throw into a routine. You don't want to do a crazy number of reps. If you get in 3 sets on each side, you still want to limit the number of reps to like 5 or 6 in a set, because they are pretty challenging, and you're experiencing some soreness as it is. I would also recommend incorporating just some like single leg heel raise work, which is literally just I'm gonna sort of do this without anything to balance on. So if I fall over, don't laugh at me. It's literally just coming up on the toes of one side.
Okay.
What you really want your goal to be there is getting 25 plus slow controlled reps on each side pretty easily. That might be a challenge right now, but that's sort of what you want to work towards in terms of reducing your chance of some aches and pains back there. And just to touch on real quick, the shoe change and the surface change definitely could be factors right now. What shoes did you go to? Is it the Adidas or those like the Bostons?
From Boston. These are the Boston 8s, and I went to the Boston 9s. So the ones I'm wearing now are the older pair that I'm not running anymore. Yeah.
Do you know if they changed the heel drop on those from the 8 to the 9?
I don't think they did, but it certainly feels a little flatter than these 8s. Yeah, so maybe so.
If I don't know off the top of my head, honestly. I'll have to try and look into it. But if they did lower the heel drop a little bit, that actually will promote a little bit more of a midfoot to forefoot strike, which isn't a bad thing. But that midfoot to forefoot strike will bias some more of the force through the calf and Achilles complex. So sometimes that can, give you some aches and pains in an area that you're not used to experiencing it. the track as well is obviously a little bouncier of a surface. So sometimes there's some more force being kind of transmitted through the calf and Achilles on that front as well. So I think that all sort of fits the picture. It's just about, you know, doing some things now to get your body up to speed and make sure it's prepared for it. So yeah, if you can get in like those heel raises maybe 3 times a week, that would probably be ideal. And then the plyos, that the 2 to 1 single leg lands, maybe once a week, and I think you'll start to come around from that.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Anything else real quick? Go ahead, Tina.
Oh, I was just going to say it was very informative. There's lots of whys and hows you gave today, so thank you.
Of course, it makes it easy when, you know, we have a smaller class, so it's definitely a pro to that sort of thing happening. Yeah. So
for making it for me. I know you were probably hoping for a bigger class, but it was good for me. So thanks.
It's okay. I don't mind either way. I still put put my all into it. So I'm happy to help out.
Good. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks, Greg, for coming.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Hopefully we'll see you back soon.
Yep.
Yep, sure will. Thanks so much.
All right, Greg. Bye. Have a good one.